είναι πληθωρικά παρούσα σε στεριά και θάλασσα. Πάμπολοι θειασότες της κατάδυσης σε ναυάγια και η Λέρος αναδεικνύεται σε ισχυρό πόλο έλξης τουριστών. Και βέβαια, οι μικρής εμβέλειας ανθρώπινες αισθήσεις αδυνατούν να εντοπίσουν την υποθαλάσσια οντότητα πλοίων επιφανείας, υποβρυχίων, αεροπλάνων ή ατσάλινων δικτυών που λειτουργούσαν απαγορευτικά για τα πλοία του εχθρού και που προκαλούν σήμερα με τον ιστορικό τους πλούτο και το διάχυτο μυστήριο για ζηλευτές και ρεαλιστικές ναυαγιοκαταδύσεις. Όμως υπάρχει και ένα ταξίδι ανακάλυψης των ξεχωριστών γεύσεων στη Λέρο. Εδώ λοιπόν θα απολαύσετε σπιτικές πίτες, μυζήθρα που γίνεται από θαλασσινό νερό και κατσικίσιο γάλα, ψάρια μαρινάτα με δενδρολίβανο, χταπόδιστα κάρβουνα, κακαβιά από σκορπίνες, απίθανες φούσκες, πιτάκια με φάβα, παραδοσιακό γλυκό κουταλιού, πατσαβουρόπιτα, λαγκίτες, πουγγάκια με πικραμίγδαλο και ανθόνερο, σφίγγους, ξεροτίγανα, γκαβάφες και σουμάδα. Σπεύσατε λοιπόν την κυριολεκτικά πανέμορφη Λέρο για να χαρείτε, να διασκεδάσετε και να γιορτάσετε και σίγουρα να αποκομίσετε εμπειρίες ζωής. Την αξιαγάπητη Λέρο για ένα ταξίδι με μοναδική άποψη.
Between Patmos and Kalymnos, the magic of Leros emerges from the Aegean water, an island multifarious with indented coastline stretching to more than 70 kilometers. A real jewel of southeastern Aegean, a hidden treasure there in the South Sporades.
Γιατί άντρες είναι πλάνοι και δεν βάζουνε στεφάνι. Έλα να σε στους τρώνω να κοιμάσαι.
There are many natural beauties like pine and olive groves, together with translucent water and quiet beaches that surround the deserted islets nearby. Islets that are ideal springboards for fishing. Picturesque settlements, neoclassical mansions, wonderful figures of the churches, windmills, and the diamond castle radiating from high up the history and the culture of the hospitable and lovable inhabitants of Leros. There is excellent accommodation infrastructure, of course providing all the modern comforts and service to the numerous visitors. Big ships anchor at Laki, one of the biggest natural ports in the Mediterranean, an element that was largely appreciated before the war, both by the Axis powers and the Allies. From Aya Marina, hydrofoils and catamarans set sail for the 12 islands. There is regular boat service from Leros to Crete and Piraeus all year round by fast ferries and ferry boats. There is also air connection with Athens, Astypalaia, Kos and Rhodes. On a hill west of the airport at Partheni, relics have been found of the precincts of a temple dedicated to the goddess Artemis, but traces of human installations on the island date back to the Neolithic age, as early as 8000 to 3000 BC. The relics are related to a settlement in the area around Partheni. The main ancient settlement, however, was perhaps the one found near the port of Aya Marina, which is considered the most antique town of Leros, as well as the first capital of the island. Platanos, the old quarter, is the capital of the island with omnipresent architectural elegance. There are remarkable churches in honor of Christ and the Holy Cross, while the historical interest focuses on St. Paraskevi, the former cathedral of the island. The town hall, the archaeological museum, the girls' school, all the old neoclassical mansions, and of course, the sea that spreads till the Patriarchate, Alinda a little farther and Crithoni at the edge. The old building of the elders houses the municipal library of Leros, which includes invaluable treasures of old books in all science fields and human knowledge. Some years ago it was working as a pharmacy, one of the 7 first in Greece. Aya Marina, the seaside quarter, situated in the protected bay with the same name, is the second port of Leros. Together with Platanos, it constitutes a residential unit which lies amphitheatrically between 2 slopes, with its white houses beginning from the shore and extending till the castle hill. Our acquaintance with Aya Marina begins from the port, with the fortress at the entrance and the lighthouse at the edge, the picturesque dockyard, and of course, the much photographed windmill. Bruzzi, at the entrance of Aya Marina Bay, the water mains, the mosaics, as well as the arched relics, depict the Roman style and origin. The famous castle of Virgin Mary stands out at the top of a hill. The view is uniquely panoramic, and there is a charming play of light and shadow over the course of a day. Surely, one of the top sights of Leros is the Padelion Castle, and visiting it is a must, both during the day and at night. Of unique value is the arched church of Virgin Mary, seen by the visitors of the castle. A little further, we find the mid-Byzantine church of the Holy Trinity, constituting the peak of religious feeling in Aya Marina Pas-de-Lis and Laquis. Of equally priceless value is the Ecclesiastical Museum due to its unique exhibits. This museum bears the stamp of a patriarch, not in the form of a golden bull, but in the form of a tree for peace, an olive tree, planted at the entrance. Continuing our way from Platanos to the sea towards southeast, we find the fishing village Pas-de-Lis, where the beach is popular among local people. The beach at Vromolithos is a huge rock plate which gives the water an exclusive color. The sandy beach with lush coastal vegetation gives desirable shade and matches the clear water. There, in the wonderful bay, just opposite, the cone-like islet with a small church of Saint Kyriaki rounds off the picturesque setting. The biggest natural port is Laquis. It gives the impression of a huge lake, which permits an opening to the sea of just 400 meters. Because of this particular advantage, it was called Porto Lago by the Italians and was chosen as their naval station. Laquis bears its own character. The town was pulled down by the Italians between the world wars and rebuilt to a new town with an architecture unique in Europe. Relics of buildings around the Laquis Bay testify of the Italian naval port. Its establishment started during the Balkan Wars and remained until 1943, despite Greek reactions according to the Lausanne Treaty in 1923. In 1939, Italy went to war on the side of Hitler, and in 1943 Churchill sent troops to Leros, who entrenched themselves to confront the Germans. After the Italians capitulated, the Germans conquered Rhodes and Kos in order to attack Leros, which was defended by the English and the Italians. The Greek torpedo ship Queen Olga plunges into the naval battle, takes part in the destruction of a German convoy, but later faces the bombs of German Stukas and sinks to the bottom of the sea. During the sensational 52 days battle in the fall of 1943, after the bombings, the landing operations conclude the conquest of Leros by the Germans. The Junker 52, carrying paratroopers, is lost in Ayamarina Bay, to be spotted and lifted to the surface in our days. The island remained under occupation until 1947, when it was liberated and united with Greece as all the Dodecanese islands. Many bombshells from the relentless bombardment have remained unexploded since the Battle of Leros. You can see them today decorating houses, squares, and even churches. What makes the visitor's impression at the War Museum in the Tunnel of Merikia is the remarkable tour of historic deeds and war history of the island. Ruined military installations, galleries dug in the mountains, refuges and secret installations, together with a surgery in the heart of the mountain, all constitute a gloomy trip back to the past. For the visitor at the peak of Patella, the modern history is present as a trip of discovery, full of vivid details. Ruined fortifications call up melancholic sentiments, gun bases send out their eloquent present silence, and aerophones of surprising architecture mark the frenzied battle atmosphere. Looking for peace and serenity now, we spot St. Isidoros at the tiny islet on the way between Alinda and Parthenia. The small church is built on the rock with a seemingly floating passage leading to the steps of stone. Exciting nightlife in the bars and restaurants by the beach, Leros lends itself to frisky visitors and quiet ecotourists as well. From Maya Marina towards Krithoni, Alinda and Panayes spreads a very wide bay with wonderful beaches. Alinda is a very popular spot from the tourist point of view, offering a fascinating sandy beach with seaside trees that cast shades on the water. The famous Beleni Tower is a real beauty of the area. The restored building houses the Folklore and Historical Museum, and in the garden, excellent cultural events are organized. Between Krithoni and Alinda, the road crosses the island from east to west, just at the narrowest part of Leros, to carry north towards Partheni and south towards Gourna and Dremona. Partheni is a picturesque fishing village spreading in a green and fertile valley of the island. Here, on top of a low hill, is a tower from the 3rd century BC, believed to be a temple in honor of the goddess Artemis. It really looks like the base of an ancient temple, testifying of human presence through the centuries, together with a modern airport, the marina and the detention camp, which in former times housed political prisoners at Partheni. Also the church Vasiliki is nearby, inviting for pilgrimage. The airport is on our left hand, while we continue our way to the right, where cane thickets reach the sea and fishing boats anchor in the bay. It was once the place of exile for some people due to their political beliefs in our recent history. Saint Cura is a church of modern architecture, but with a unique characteristic. The religious paintings have been made by political detainees of the time from an aesthetic perspective which is not only abstract, but the figures actually look like contemporary people. Just off Partheni, there is another bay with beautiful beach, ideal for swimming. This is Blefoutis, where a small settlement have been developed with taverns by the sea in a quiet and romantic environment. From the peak of Markelos, the view is unending towards the airport, Lipsi and Patmos. At this point we can see concrete gun bases and fortifications which call up the amazing historic background of the island. Just across, the island Archagelos, next to Faradonisia, is an ideal resort for sailing boats when the Aegean Meltemi blows hard. Starting from Laki, going beyond the yacht club, we enter a pine tree area that winds up alongside the coast with small beautiful beaches in succession. We pass Katsouni in Merikia and the gloomy war galleries under Saint Zachariah Church, which dates back to the 11th century. Reaching Xerokambos, in a left turn, is a sign saying ancient fortress. We go up the road to reach the beautiful small church and circle